The Koch brothers are once again working their anti-democracy magic in North Carolina. Through the organization Americans for Prosperity, there's been a bit of a mix-up. A whole bunch of hundreds of thousands of voter registration forms went out to the public in North Carolina. Except these hundreds of thousands had really big mistakes on them, like being sent to the wrong person, the wrong address, giving incorrect information like where to register, when the deadline was, and all kinds of really strange misinformation like that. This mess came to light after there was a gigantic flood of confused callers contacting local elections offices and the state board elections. Given the overwhelming size of the mistake, the state began an investigation into the incident after the state Democratic Party filed official complaints. This might be able to be passed off as an isolated incident if this were the case. In 2011 in Wisconsin, voter absentee ballots for the Senate recall were sent out, and that you had to fill out this form and get it sent in by August 11. Except the deadline was actually August 9th. One Wisconsin Now liberal group in 2010 says the Americans for Prosperity discussed a voter caging scheme with the Wisconsin GOP and Tea Party activists, in which a mailer was to be sent to minority and student voters telling them that they had to confirm their voter registration. Any mailers returned as undeliverable were then used by the Tea Party volunteers to challenge the eligibility of voters at the polls. And I think minorities and students tend to vote one particular way, and usually not Republican. It seems very clear, in my opinion, that the Koch brothers are attempting to undermine democracy in this instance. Of course, there's no absolute definitive proof, and this is just my opinion, and I'm sure a lot of people would agree with me. But I want to ask the question, is it really relevant? If we already understand this to be a bourgeois democracy where the only real vote is what competing interests within the capitalist class make the decisions, does this really matter? If we already know that the vote is rigged so that no matter what, one group of people, the ruling class, wins and the lower classes, the working class, middle class, always lose, then what's the point of this even being a big deal to begin with? In this system, people don't get to make choices. People with money get to make them. And that's because money is social power. In fact, you can tremendously link that to just about everything in capitalist society. Do the people really get to make a choice? Do they make a choice about themselves? No, they have a party that does it. Do they get to control what capital does? No, because in bourgeois democracy, the government, the system, does what capital wants. Did the people vote whether or not those in the third world get bombed? Not really. Do people in the third world get a vote on whether or not they get bombed? Absolutely not. Does their capital mean anything? Of course not, because it's tremendously smaller than the capital of the United States. In the article that I link, the daily costs, they encourage people to give $3 to donate to daily cost supported candidates or backed candidates. The question is, essentially they're asking you to donate money to fund the politicians that they back, particularly for Secretary of State. But the question is, if we know it's already bought, and the people with the most amount of money really win, then what is it they think they're going to accomplish? This reminds me a lot of the Super PAC and the Wolf PAC that Cenk Uygur was all over. These people know that they know that who spends the most money wins the elections. So they come up with the idea that they're going to spend money as well. Yet at what point in their mind do they realize that they're not going to outspend the Koch brothers? They're not going to outspend Wall Street. So it seems like they're knowingly going into a battle that they can't win, and yet insist that this is the only way it can be done. To me, this is one of the big failings of liberalism. They truly believe that if they just do the same thing, or just have faith in the system, or just try to iron out this one little problem, that it's just going to magically work. But it's not. And we see very clearly here, these people are trying to, fully acknowledging that money is what makes the decisions, and money is what decides who gets elected. Yet they know they have an inferior amount of money when compared to the Koch brothers, or Wall Street, yet they engage in this battle that they know that they can't win. Thank you for watching. Please comment and rate the video. If you liked it, hit subscribe or check out some of these other great videos. If you wish, share it on social media. While you're at it, why don't you follow me on Twitter? And if you got time, go on over to the MRN bookstore and check out some of the latest books available.